Hi, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House, where we'll go anywhere to answer your home improvement questions. Today,
work continues on our deck. Today, we're installing pre-finished wood decking. Well, now we're ready to install the railing system. What I like to use is a sliding dovetail joint. It's really strong, so the railing system can't pull out. What do you think?
This is tremendous.
I'm blown away. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Just
it's
never thought this could happen.
one of the most common homeowner projects is building a deck. It's something that people can knock off in a weekend, well, maybe in 2 or 3 weekends. And we had some homeowners who wanted one, so we thought we'd give them a hand. Now, it was a pretty elaborate design with an upper deck coming off of the house, dropping down to a lower deck. So we decided we would do it over the course of 2 episodes. And last week, Tommy, we got underway, and it started with laying out the deck.
Right. Showed you how to lay out the deck using some string lines. Showed you how to make it parallel with the back of the house. We told you how to square it and how to locate all the footings that were going to support that deck. Showed you how to flash it to make it watertight to the house and how to connect it to the house.
We also put the footings in, we started putting in the posts, and we basically got the whole thing framed in the first week.
In the first week, we got most of it framed. Yeah.
You're just about done?
Not even close. Hey guys, looks like you got a lot of work done. You got the rest of the joists in. You got the rim joist on. Obviously, you got all the ends of the joist cut, and you got all the blocking in that I asked for.
Yep.
Well, the blocking is good because it keeps the joist true and straight. How'd you make out with the stringers?
Well, you tell me.
All right. Oh, they look pretty good. Nice and solid.
Thanks. We got a concrete pad down here that I poured.
Yeah.
And I put this plate, it's 2x12 on top that I've J-bolted in.
Good, good.
And then I cut the stringers and anchored them to that with this angle bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come up here, you see I used adjustable joist hangers to anchor them to the 2x12.
Well, you put some carriage bolts in there. It doesn't look like they're going to go anywhere.
No.
Piece of cake, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I don't know about that. Tommy, come check out our graveyard of stringers.
Graveyard. Oh, we got a pile of lumber here.
Yep.
You got a few tries, huh?
Yeah, about 6 of them.
The important thing is that you got them in.
Yep.
All right, but today we're here to install the decking. So let's see what you've chosen for material.
Okay.
There are a lot of choices for decking today, from synthetic to composite to real wood. You guys chose real wood. This is called Ipe, also known as ironwood. It's very dense. It's a Brazilian hardwood. It holds up to the weather wonderfully. Over time, it will just age out to a nice silvery gray. But you guys wanted to have it stained.
Yeah, we decided that we liked the look of the darker, richer stain.
And it is very rich. So what we did, we had the factory stain it. The benefit to that is they stain all the way around the board. If we were to do that in the field, it's a lot of work. Now your deck is going to be 20 by 20. That's about 400 square feet. So we ordered 450 square feet for waste. Let's get started.
Right.
To ensure that our deck boards run straight and parallel with the house, the first thing we did is snap the chalk line parallel to the house, out the distance of the board. Now we're going to take our board, place it on the mark. Because this wood is so hard, I need to pre-drill a hole. Drill a hole right through the board. Now I'm going to attach the deck with this screw that's colored to blend with the finish of the decking. Now our chalk line is straight, but our board has a curve to it. To straighten the board out, we're going to move it out until it touches the line. Then I'll screw it off. If we do it all the way along the chalk line, the board will be straight. We've installed our first board straight across the back of the house using a screw through the face of the board. Now that we're far enough away from the house, we can start installing the rest of the decking using a different type of a fastening system, a hidden fastening system. We're going to utilize the groove on the board by driving the nail through the groove into the structure below. Right here on the nail, this little piece right here will act like a spacer, and this little piece right here actually holds the next board down, and you won't see any fasteners on the face of the deck.
So are we putting those all in by hand?
No, we're actually using a pneumatic tool that is designed for decking. It looks a lot like a flooring hammer that you'd use in the house. It should really speed up the job. Simple as that. Now I'll just work my way down the line. Okay, now we're ready for the second board. Melissa, take the end of the board and line it up with the board that we just put in place. Got it there? All right, now I'm going to use the same mallet to drive the second board into the fasteners. Whenever installing decking, you want to think about where the end of the boards are going to end up, like these butt joints right here. You always want to make sure that the end of the deck board ends up in the center of a joist, not in the center of a joist bay. You'll have no support. You also want to make sure you seal this fresh cut to eliminate any checking or cracking. Now you have to think about how you're going to fasten these boards. If I nail these two boards right here, the chances of these splitting are pretty good. So I'm going to use a different type of a fastener, a plastic biscuit, with two little spacers on the bottom. I'm going to drive these into the slot, and we'll take a stainless steel screw, put it right in there. This is the last deck board on our first level, and we can't use our hidden fasteners on this board, so we're going to have to face screw it just like we did the first deck board. On the side of the deck, we let the deck boards run long so we can cut them off the straight edge, flush with the rim joist. From the step down from the upper level to the lower level of the deck, you can see this pressure-treated framing right here, and you can also see the groove of the deck. I don't want to see either one of them. I want to hide them. So we're going to use a piece of 1x8 epay and put it up just like that. Now the first thing I have to do is I have to put a filler on the riser. And it just so happens that a piece of epay, scrap wood, works out perfect. So I pre-drilled some holes and I'll screw it in place. Now we mitered both ends of the 1x8 and we sealed the end grain. Now I want to hold it into position, keeping it flush with the top, lining up my outside corner, and I want to pre-drill for a screw. Well, I think we got a lot done today. We've got most of the decking done on the upper level. We've started covering around the rim with a wider epay, but it's getting late, so I think we're done for today. Do you think you guys can handle putting down the rest of the decking?
Yeah, you're going to lend us this pneumatic nailer, right?
Yeah, I guess I can do that.
Great.
All right, once all the decking's down, give me a call and I'll come back and we'll get started on the railings.
All right, sounds great.
Hey, Melissa and Mark, how are you? Deck looks great.
Thanks.
Well, now we're ready to install the railing system.
So is all this rain today going to be a problem?
Not if it doesn't rain too hard. All right, I brought some pieces to show you what we're going to build. There's a 4x4 post, and we have a 2x4 for a lower railing. We have some 2x2 balusters, and take that one right there, Mark, and put it right on top for our upper railing.
Okay.
Okay? Now, the first thing we want to think about is how we're going to attach our post to the decking. So what I did is I cut a piece of 4x4 right here, and at the bottom, I actually cut this half lap in it. That will sit up against the structure and on top of the deck. We'll be able to bolt that right in. Next thing we want to think about is how we're going to attach the railing system to the post. What I like to use is a sliding dovetail joint.
Oh, it's like on a drawer.
Right, it's really strong, so the railing system can't pull out. All right? It also creates another little thing. When you slide the railing into that system, there's a shelf right here that will hold the railing, so if anybody steps on it, it won't come down.
Great.
So the first thing we have to do is cut these dovetails.
Good.
We have an awful lot of posts to cut, and we want to make sure they're all exactly the same. And to do that, I've made a jig. The jig will position the top and the bottom rail exactly right. Now, to cut all of these sliding dovetails, we actually have to use a router. Now, the router is set up with a 1/2-inch dovetail bit pitched at 8 degrees using this templating collar that will ride against the edges of our jig. Now, because this wood is so hard and it's really tough on router bits, I want to save my dovetail bit. So I want to take out most of the wood using a different router with a straight cutting bit and a wider collar.
Okay, so that wider collar prevents it from getting too close to the edge and ruining that angle.
Exactly. So let's get started with the first router. All right, now we're ready for our dovetail. Okay, the next thing we want to do is cut our half lap down here. To To remove this piece of the post, I'm going to use my table saw, but I don't want to overcut it. So I raise the table saw blade up and I look to see where it exits the table. I put a reference line. I transferred that reference line to the top of my rift fence. So now when I push the post through and that reference line lines up with the line on my post, it'll be exactly right. Now what I want to do is I want to break this little piece out using my chisel and a hammer. Now I'll just clean that up with my chisel. Alright, with our post cut, we're ready to start installing it. We've pre-drilled the holes right here for our lag bolts, and we're going to use 5-inch lag bolts, one in each hole, and I've actually marked the location on our structure where each post will go. Now, Melissa, I'll hold it into position. If you want to start it, get it started, and then I'll plumb it up at a level. Okay, now let's see, get another one on the bottom there. Now, let me see if it's plumb first. Okay, right there, Melissa.
Okay, so what's next?
With all of our posts in, we are now ready to start cutting the bottom and the top rail. And at the bottom and top rail, at the end of them, we're going to put this joint right here. This will allow us to slide the 2x4 into the post, making a nice, tight joint. Just like that. Let me show you how we're going to cut that. We're actually using the same router, the same dovetail bit, the same collar, and the same deck, but a different jig. Now this jig is made to go over the end of the 2x4. Okay, shut it off, unlock the router, and let it come out. Okay, now I'll unclamp this, and let's see how you did. Looks pretty good. Before we install the railings, we want to seal the end grain on the railings and the posts. Now we're going to start installing the railings. Good. One end into position. Just push it in a little bit. Do the top one. Got it right there, Mark. Now this post has a little bit of a curve in it, so we need to pull the post back. To do that, I'm going to use the strap right here and ratchet it back into place. Okay. All right, just give that a little tap. Good. A little more. Good. Now go back. Okay. Now the dovetail will hold it together. In the design of the deck, we decided to put 2 posts in the corner.
Yep.
To fill that gap, we have to put a railing in. So we made 2 pieces of 2x4, we mitered them, and we're going to slide them into the dovetail. Okay, let's take that one over there, Mark. Tap it in.
That's a nice fit.
Okay, take that drill, and we'll put a stainless steel screw right in there. I pre-drilled the hole. Good, nice and tight. Now we'll do the one on the top. Now the dovetail joint is very strong this way and this way, but it's not this way. It's a sliding dovetail. To stop that from sliding, we're actually going to drive 2 galvanized pins right in the corner, on the top of the bottom rail and the bottom of the top rail.
Here you go, Tom.
Thanks. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to build each baluster section in place here on the table, and then we're going to install it as a unit. Now lots of times you see the balusters spaced equally between the posts, but you guys have a different idea. You want to start with a baluster about 4 inches away from the post, then a 2-inch space, then a 4-inch space, a 2-inch space, a 4, and so on down the line. So what we did is we took the sections, we divided them equally in the layout that you wanted, We mark 2 sticks. These are the nailing sticks, one at the top and one at the bottom. Hold it there, and now our balusters will be positioned perfectly, top and bottom. Now just pin them. This is a 1-inch 18-gauge nail. Anything longer, it'll bend because the wood is so hard. 4 in the top, 4 in the bottom. All right, now we'll slide our first section in. Got it there? Well, guys, the rain held out just in time for us to finish the deck. What do you think?
This is tremendous.
I'm blown away. It's amazing.
It is a great deck.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing left that I want you to do. I want you to put these blocks on the top of each one of the posts.
I think we can do that.
We're so excited to have a space now that we can enjoy outdoors. We
Yeah,
just
it's
never
great.
thought this could happen.
Well, it is a great deck.
All right, how about a cold drink?
I'll take it.
All right, come on, you've earned it.
Boy, Tommy, that was quite a project.
You're not kidding.
It's a big project and a lot of work.
Looked like it.
I tell you, I love this thing, the new fastener. I hadn't seen these before. Does it only work in grooved wood like that?
No, it's actually will go in any kind of material that's not grooved or grooved. But the reason I had it grooved into the E-Pay is because the wood is so hard, I found that once in a while when I drove the other board into it, I was bending the nail.
So everybody's talking about invisible fasteners, though, for decks.
Yeah, everybody doesn't want to see their fasteners, so invisible fasteners are the latest and greatest. So we have a fastener that will fit into a groove. When you buy your board, you can get one that's color-coded, and actually it will go right into the edge of the board like this. Put it in there like that. You drive your screw in there, you take the next board, and you put it up into it like that, and you have a hidden fastener.
Already spaced, actually a pretty small profile, and because it's the same color, it really does almost disappear.
It does almost disappear.
Right.
They have fasteners like this one right here we use on all of the butt joints, but you can use them all over the field of the deck. They can go into the slot like that. You put a screw in there, then you slide the 2 boards together. It holds the space and holds the board down nice and tight.
Not quite invisible because it's black, a different color, and it's a little wider, but it still looks pretty good.
Right. Now they also have this one right here that you put down the board, you slide this under the board, and then you put a screw through there, and you slide the next one in, and again, it holds the space and holds the boards down nice and tight.
So all basically the same idea.
Right.
So do you always need grooved wood to use these invisible fasteners?
No, if you want to use an invisible fastener, no matter which one, you can make your own groove. And, you know, a biscuit joiner is great for doing a groove or just an individual spot that you want to go 16 on center and drive your biscuit joiner in.
And then any one of those fasteners we just looked at would fit right into that slot.
Right. Now, if you don't have a biscuit joiner and you still want to use one of those 3 fasteners, you can make your own slot right here if you have a router using a slot cutter with a bearing. And you just adjust the right height that you want and run your router every 16 inches or right down the whole board.
All right, so do you always need a groove or a slot for these invisible joiners?
No, there are a couple of different methods that you can use without a slot at all. So if we move this out of the way, I can show you this right here. This is a piece of metal that goes on the side of the joist. You screw it into the side, right like that. Screw it in there. Then you lay the boards down on top, and you go down below the deck, and you screw the screws up through the holes into the underside of the decking. But the most common way to install decking, most people use screws. Now you can face screw it with a color match screw, or you can use a screw that's going to drill a hole for a bunk.
So this is actually a special screw that actually overdrives. It comes with a bit that's got a little guide right here, and when you screw it in, it'll sink itself, bottoming out just at the right height, and actually the screw makes a bung hole all by itself. Now they sell the screws with bungs that are cut from the material of the decking. Put those in there and send it home.
Beautiful.
It's pretty good luck.
Now these are meant for composite material, not for wood.
All right, Tommy, a huge project and a lot of great tips. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, if you've got questions about your house, we'd love to hear from you, so keep them coming. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Tom Silva.
And I'm Rich Trethewey.
For Ask This Old House.
By the way, where were you guys when I needed help?
We have caller ID when you call.
I was waiting for the call.
Next time on Ask This Old House.
This is a project we've been saving for a rainy day.
I've got some solutions for taking the water from your gutters and your downspouts and getting it away from your house. You can see when the water comes out, it's going to come back this way. All that water is going to flow right down on the foundation and could weep right in.
And we're blowing in insulation, which is going to save this homeowner a lot of money.
That's next time on Ask This Old House. If you have a question about your house or a tip you'd like to share, please let us know. Visit our website, pbs.org, for expert advice, step-by-step videos, and much more. This Old House magazine, the companion to the television series, provides advice from our experts that you've come to know. You can use your credit card to order 10 monthly issues for $10 by calling 1-800-221-5900.